It's a good day to be in the DA. Am I right? It's great to be part of this blue army. This blue army that's ready to sweep across every ward in this city, to every voting district, to every community, to every hall, and to every corner of Johannesburg, with one mission alone: to win Johannesburg for the DA. And to the people of Johannesburg, I say, when the DA wins, Johannesburg wins. It's good to be here today in this magnificent venue. It's good to be here today with this magnificent family of activists. Can we hear the activists? This magnificent family of councillors. Can we hear our councillors? This magnificent family of MPs and MPLs. Can we hear them? And the incredible blue machine staffing system that runs it behind the scenes. Let's hear it for our professional staff. You know, Democrats, I love the energy I'm feeling here today. They say down in the Cape, hier kom 'n ding. And I think there's something big coming if we can take this energy and we can take it all the way to November next year. Are you with us? Are we going to do it? We're going to do it. You know, almost everybody in this country has some connection or other with Johannesburg. Either we have friends and family here, we've worked here, we've come back here. And Joburg is crucial for our country, because it's only when Johannesburg works that South Africa can work. And it is essential that we get Joburg working. Because, Democrats, we cannot afford to sit by and witness for even one more election the corruption, the decay, the thievery, the mismanagement, the dry taps, the electricity that doesn't work, and the unemployment queues in Johannesburg weaving around buildings. We don't want a city of social grant recipients. We want a city of workers with real jobs, with a real future. And we can make it happen here. You know, there was a time when Rand Water was the pride of Africa, one of the very best water providers on the continent. Now, nearly half of all Johannesburg's water is lost to leaks. Families queue with buckets to just have clean water. And many communities are only surviving because good Samaritans are going out and digging boreholes to get water. And this is the story of a city that has been broken. It has been broken by the ANC. And in recent years, the ANC propped up by those small hyena parties that sit around on the edges waiting to feed on the carcass that the ANC have left behind. And they keep them in office. But we're here today to send a message from this hall, from this mighty community of Soweto, that your time is up. Your time is up. People are tired of poor service delivery. People are tired of politicians who talk and do nothing. And people are tired of paying for services that they never receive. Our people are tired of watching our children languish in unemployment, being sucked into gangsterism and drugs, destroying their future. And we're here today to send a clear message: so far and no further. Because we're going to turn the tide. And I'm not here today to curse the darkness. The DA is here to light the candle. And the light and illumination from that candle is going to show every resident in Joburg the path that we are going to take into the future to win this city back, to make sure we put a government in place that's going to work for you, the people of this city. And I want to tell you, it can be done. There are many who will say to you, it can't be done. We must be deaf to them. It can be done. And we know it can be done because it happened right here. I want to tell you a story about a boy born in Vrede in the Free State. Over 100 years ago, his parents were farm workers. He had very little formal education and very few prospects. And certainly no reason to dream. But Ephraim E.T. Mshengu Chabalala refused to let those circumstances define him. He moved here to Johannesburg and started as a forklift driver, then as a bus driver in Sophiatown in 1946. He then took a leap of faith. He quit his job and he started his own meat business. Within 5 years, he had built a small fortune. He expanded into garages and shops and supermarkets. And then in 1968, when the people of this mighty place of Soweto called for the rehabilitation of the Iyetu cinema, it was he who answered the call. And he invested his money, not only in his own success, but in the success of his community. And Iyetu became more than just a cinema. It was a place that brought Sowetans together for laughter, for choir competitions, for music festivals, beauty contests, and stage productions. At that very dark time in our history, it was a shining beacon of hope and a hub of cultural significance. It was a place of joy, a place of community, a place where people invested the most important thing they can, and that is time in each other. And that is why we are here today, in this very venue, reborn in 2023 as a modern cultural landmark. Because Democrats, Johannesburg needs that same spirit of renewal. We need the inspiration and commitment and the hard work that Ephraim Chabalala embodied. Because Johannesburg needs change. Now, Johannesburg is a city of extraordinary people. And don't let those politicians gaslight you or scapegoat you and say the problem with Johannesburg is its people. They're not the problem with Johannesburg. The problem in Johannesburg is the politicians. The people are great. They're innovative. They're hungry for change. They want to see a better future. But they cannot do it because they have politicians standing in their way. They have politicians stealing their future. They have politicians literally stealing the food out of their children's mouths. Johannesburg's got everything that it needs to thrive. Amazing people, infrastructure, opportunities, an 83 billion rand budget. But you know what Johannesburg doesn't have? Leadership. Johannesburg doesn't have leadership. And what we have today is not governance, it's decay management. That's what this government in Johannesburg is doing. They're not governing, they're managing decay. And even as they manage decay, they do it badly. Now, we need in Johannesburg a good dose of muti. We need a Jova. And that Jova is a blue Jova. And in this election, we're going to put it into the arm of Johannesburg, and we're going to rescue this patient, and we're going to fix it, and we're going to make it healthy again, and it is going to be a great city. A city that works for you and for me and for everybody. But you've got to trust the party to get it done. And if you had any doubts about the DA's ability, you only need to look at the Auditor General's report. But if you don't want to read the Auditor General's report, go and have a look at Ratings Africa. But if you're too busy to look at Ratings Africa, just listen to the president. Just listen to the president. He said it this week. The DA gets things done. Where the DA governs, life is better. The taps run, the electricity's on, the jobs flow, and delivery happens. Now what Johannesburg needs is to take those words and translate them into action and make sure that we get the blue party here in government under a DA mayor to make a better future for all of you. But we must not play with fire. And let me be very clear to the citizens of Johannesburg. Let me be very clear. If you split your vote and vote for smaller parties, you're going to get another 5 years of what you've had for the last 5 years, and the 5 years before that, and the 5 years before that. If you're going to go into this election and spread bet on any new shiny bauble that comes along, be distracted by promises from people who never actually deliver on those promises. I'm glad you said it. You said it. He said it, not me. And that's why Fraction SA are having such heart palpitations. They're having heart palpitations. They're more interested in who our mayoral candidate is than their mayoral candidate. And they're having heart palpitations because, as I said in Tshwane, I'm calling them Fraction SA because after this next election, they're going to be 0,000 as a fraction, not as a party. And we must not be fooled by people who say they're going to come clean the city and clean it up and clean it out. And yet they hang out at the houses of gangsters and hitmen. That's not the way forward. We can't trust parties who take your vote and then turn it around and give it back to the very people you voted against, like Action SA have done in Tshwane. They get trapped, you see, in these unstable coalitions. And we can't afford, Joburg can't afford, South Africa can't afford another 5 years of a revolving door at the mayor's office. We need stability. We need a leader with integrity. We need a vision that's going to turn the city around. And we need the people that are going to do it. And I want to say to the people of Joburg that only a vote united behind a capable, proper political party is going to rescue you from the decay that you are living in. I believe that Johannesburg can be a great place again. I believe that Johannesburg can be a world-class city. I believe that Johannesburg can be a city of opportunity. I believe that Johannesburg can be a city finally that serves its residents. And I believe it can be a city that can attract the best investments. And this is, do we believe? Yeah. Do we believe? Yeah. Are you believers? Yeah. When the DA took over Cape Town in 2006, it was a city going down the tubes. Services were collapsing. Corruption was taking over. Remember Mr. 10%, who was the city manager. And the poor were paying the highest price. But with strong leadership and determination and a will to win, we turned Cape Town round into the best performing metropolitan council in South Africa. Hashtag president. We went from, listen to this, spending 60% of the budget to spending 96% of the budget. Tripling the budget for maintenance. Spending on what mattered, roads, streetlights, pipes, clinics, hospitals and schools. And most importantly, we gave relief to the poorest households through free basic services and subsidized housing, and restored the dignity of many of our citizens. Townships have benefited from new infrastructure, new housing, and real investment. And the lesson is simple, very simple lesson. When honest leadership meets capable government, that's when things start to happen. And this too can happen for Joburg. This too can happen for Joburg. But it's going to be up to us in this room, and it's going to be up to the people of Johannesburg. And so, Democrats, each of us in this wonderful blue family, in this united blue army, needs to march in lockstep, determinedly into Johannesburg. We need to knock on every door. We need to speak to every resident. And we need to evangelize the good news that things are bad, but help is on the way. And that help is going to come when we put that big blue Java into the arm of Joburg in the elections next year. And we start to make it work. And so, in the inimitable words of that great political philosopher, Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Yes. Can Johannesburg work again? Yes. Can we fix the lights and the roads and the water? Yes. Can we build a Josie that we all love? Yes, we can.